Hello friends, in last video we have discussed the problem on first come first serve scheduling algorithm. So today we will see problem of shortage of first scheduling. Okay, so what is the criteria of shortage of first scheduling? Here CPU chooses the process to execute first which is having the shortest burst time. Okay, burst time is nothing but the CPU time required by the process. So the process which requires smallest CPU time, that will get executed first. Okay, so first here we have given one example. Here we are having 5 processes. As arrival time is not mentioned there, so we can assume that all the processes have arrived at time 0. Okay, so here all have arrival time I can write as 0. Okay, so all the processes have arrived at time 0. So here we are having 5 processes P1 to P5. So first we draw the Gantt chart. So from these processes, which process we will choose first? So this is the Gantt chart I have already drawn over here. So just let's discuss how we can draw it. Okay, so on horizontal line we are having time and the sequence in which processes are executing we have mentioned over there. Okay, so first from 5 processes we will choose the process which requires smallest burst time. So which is the process which requires smallest burst time? That is the P5. It requires only 3 milliseconds, smallest among all. So we'll choose P5 first to execute. Okay, so we'll start executing it. So from 0 to 3, so as it requires only 3 milliseconds, so it will complete here. Okay, now we will take next process to execute. So we are having 4 remaining processes. Among these 4 processes, P1 requires smallest burst time, so we'll execute at second sequence, second position. So here we will pick P1 to execute and start executing it. So as it requires only 5 milliseconds, so we will finish it at 8 milliseconds. Okay, then 3 processes are remaining, so we'll choose the one which is having the smallest CPU time or burst time. So which process is that one? So P4 is the one which requires the smallest burst time, so we will execute it. Okay, so from 8 it requires 10 milliseconds, so 8 plus 10 at 18, P4 will finished. Okay, then CPU will choose the next process among these two. So 16 is the smallest one, so we'll start executing P3. So from 18, as P3 requires 16 milliseconds, so from 18 plus 16 at 34 time, P3 will finish. Then we will choose the remaining one, that is P5. Okay, and P5 34 plus 24, as it requires 24 milliseconds, so it will complete at 58 milliseconds. Okay, so at 58 milliseconds all processes have executed. So here we have drawn the Gantt chart. Now we have to find out 3 things: average waiting time, average turnaround time, and throughput. Okay, so we will start calculating one by one. So first we will calculate average waiting time. So we have already discussed in the last example that waiting time is nothing but the total time process spent in the system waiting for the resources. It may be CPU, your CPU time. Okay, so waiting time is calculated as starting time minus arrival time. Starting time you can also call is at response time. First response process got. So starting time minus arrival time. So here we will calculate for every processes. So for P1, so P1 have started here, is starting time is 3 and arrival time is 0. So 3 minus 0, that is 3. Then for P2, starting time of P2 is 34 and arrival time is 0. So it is 34. Then we will calculate for P3. So starting time of P3 is 18. 18 minus 0, 18. Then P4, starting time of P4 is 8. 8 minus arrival time is 0. So 8. And for P5, starting time is 0. It have arrived also at time 0. So its total waiting time is 0. Okay. So now we have founded waiting time of all the processes. Now we will find average waiting time. So what is the formula of average waiting time? Average waiting time is waiting time of all the processes divided by total number of processes. Now we have got waiting time of all the processes. So 3 plus 34 plus 18 plus 8 plus 0 divided by 5. Okay. So we got, after calculating it, 12.6 milliseconds. Okay. So average waiting time of the processes here is 12.6 milliseconds. Okay. Then next we will calculate turnaround time, average turnaround time. So the same figure, same example is here. I have drawn the Gantt chart over here. Okay. Now we will calculate the turnaround time. So formula of turnaround time is waiting time. First of all, we will see what is meant by waiting a turnaround time. Turnaround time is the total time any process spent in the system. Okay. And it's spent while waiting or while executing. Okay. So waiting time can be of two type. Either it can be waiting for CPU or for IO devices. Okay. So formula of turnaround time is waiting time in the ready queue for CPU or for IO devices. So we will have waiting time plus execution time, CPU executing time plus waiting time in the IO devices. Okay. So as it is non-preemptive scheduling and processes are not waiting for any IO, so we will not consider this one here. So we'll calculate one by one turnaround time of each process. So first P1. So what is the waiting time of P1? P1 have started here. P1 have waited for 3 unit of time plus its executing time is 5. Executing time is nothing but the burst time. So 3 plus 5 is 8 milliseconds. Then for P2, what is this waiting time? Waiting time is 34 plus its execution time is 24. So 58 milliseconds. Okay. Then for P3, we will calculate for P3. So waiting time of P3 is, it have waited for 18 and execution time of P3 is 16. So 18 plus 16, 34 milliseconds. Then P4, waiting time of P4 is 8. Execution time of P4 is 10. 8 plus 10, that is 18 milliseconds. Then for P5, waiting time of P5 is 0 and execution time is 3. So its turnaround time is 3 milliseconds. Now we have to calculate average turnaround time. Okay. So formula of average turnaround time is total turnaround time divided by number of processes. So here we will find total turnaround time, that will be equal to 8 plus 54 plus 58 plus 34 plus 18 plus 3 divided by 5. Okay, and that when we calculate this, it comes to 24.2 milliseconds. Okay, so average turnaround time is 24.2 milliseconds. Now we will calculate the throughput. So throughput is nothing but the number of processes executing per unit of time. Okay, so here our processes P1, P2, P3 and P4 takes this much time. Okay, so to execute. So the throughput we can calculate by summing their execution time divided by number of processes. So it will be 5 plus 24 plus 16 plus 10 plus 3 divided by 5. So it will be equal to 11.6 milliseconds. Hope you understood.